Good evening. Welcome to the Caribbean. I was just talking to myself because I started this video with my audio not set up properly. And so you guys didn't see the last, or won't see anyway, the last 10 minutes of recording because my audio wasn't working. So we are currently in the CRJ900 out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. We're bound for Maurice Bishop Airport in Grenada. We do have VATSIM coverage, which is awesome. So I was just going through the chart. 14 minutes. Well,
Traffic Center, American 612 is approaching comfort drop.
13 minutes now. It'll top of descent, which may of course change because now we've got
American 612, Roger. Descend initially flight level 100. Descend initially flight level 100.
Because we have ATC.
French West 621, continue descent level 80.
Continue 80, French West 621.
So we might actually get a different descent. So I got the ATIS down at Maurice Bishop. QNH is 1010. They're reporting showers around the airport. Winds are 10 knots just off.
Easy 361. Are you able intersection departure? Or you require full length today?
So it's really not that big a deal. Let's continue with our approach briefing here. This is approach, tower, and ground. I was talking the other day about point
Easy 361. Are you able intersection departure, or you prefer full length today?
Full length is
361, Roger. Report approaching Alpha 1.
Full length is always the correct answer to that question, by the way. The reason there's a star here is because these are, it's not 24 hours service, so I gotta look up the hours. But whenever you see ground, if you ever land, I was watching a flight on YouTube, on a stream on YouTube the other day with XP72. He's a well-known streamer and flight simmer, and he was flying into Portland, Oregon, and the tower at Portland was when people would come in, he'd give them on time, whatever, and then turn left, taxiway Delta, ground point niner. And I was thinking to myself that probably not everybody knew what ground point niner meant, right? So whenever you hear ground point niner, 121.9 is a very common ground frequency. But if you ever hear like ground point 7, ground point 4, usually you're going to hear ground point niner. But whenever you hear ground point whatever, it's 121 point whatever. So, this is an RNAV approach, final approach course 103. Final approach fix is a NEVA at 1700. Let's have a quick look here. This is an LNAV CDFA. We'll get to that in a second. LNAV decision altitude is 550 feet. So let's put that in. So we come down here. And we go to... Yeah, we're going to switch this over. And... get rid of the decision height. We're going to switch this over. 550. It's going to take a while to get there, but we'll get there. 550 is our decision. Minimum descent altitude. Minimum altitude you can descend to before you have the runway environment in sight. What is the runway environment? We'll get to that in a little bit too. Alright, airport elevation 45 feet, runway elevation is 25 feet, MSA ARP 3800. What does that mean? MSA is minimum safe altitude. Your minimum safe altitude for this sector is 3,800 feet. ARP, you can search your chart here, you're not going to find it. ARP is airport reference point. If you're doing like an ILS or VOR approach, they'll give you...
Easy 361, roger, cross runway 09 and continue taxi Bravo and Bravo 3.
They'll give you ground-based navigation aids, and it's... The MSA is 25 nautical miles around whatever point they're talking about, so 3,800 feet.
Request route direct St. John's VOR.
And the reason why it's 3,800 feet...
West Indiana 610, you are cleared present position direct Alpha November uniform.
Present position direct St. John's VOR, West Indian 610.
The MSA is 1,000 feet above the highest obstacle in the area, so it's 1,000 feet above here, which is 2,800. So MSA is 3,800. So we're going to come in, actually no, missed approach, climb right, turn, direct KAPAM and hold, or as directed by ATC. These are offsets. I'm not going to explain those. They're not that important. Well, they are important, but they're not really relevant. Transition level by ATC. Transition level is where you change your altimeter from the standard setting to the local altimeter setting when you're landing. Transition altitude is where you change your altimeter setting from the local setting to the standard setting when you're departing. Now I've put transition altitude 4,000 in my FMC because I don't like transition altitude by transition level by ATC. I don't like it. I like having something set in there. This green line, of course, is my 105 nautical mile range mark, which gives me an approximate top of descent. You can see the actual top of descent right there. I come up with 105 by multiplying 35 by 3. Put that in your fixed page for TG Tango Golf Papa Yankee, and that's going to give you that range ring. Just easier to see when you're zoomed out farther. So anyway, we're getting close-ish.
French West 621, continue descent level 50. Be advised, will be number 2 in the approach sequence, following Boeing 787, currently off to your 2 o'clock position by 2 miles.
Descent flight level 50, traffic acknowledged, French West 621. And can we advise when we're ready for flight, please?
Roger, we'll advise you.
Roger, I'll probably be in about 20 miles if you can, please.
Roger.
Alright, so high terrain north through east of the airport, which is all correct, northeast of the airport. Alright, so we're going to be Batine inbound. That's flight level 3,000 feet.
EG 361, roger, runway 10 clear takeoff.
17.4 nautical miles.
Surface winds 090 degrees, 5 knots, maintain runway heading until past wind 4,100 feet.
On a heading of 168 to Papa Yankee 001. Then we come down to 2,000 feet. It's only 6 nautical miles we've got to drop that distance, so I want to be at 3,000, early before we get down there, because I don't want to have to do a lot of maneuvering. What am I looking for here? All right. Oh, that's right. I was going to show you the VNAV setup here.
French West 621, fly heading 180 degrees, reduce speed 250 knots or less.
Turn right heading 180 degrees and reduce speed 250
restriction on the
knots.
descent. Papa Yankee 001, 3,000 feet or above. That's right here. So, and this is the glide path angle and the descent rate required to hit that right now. If I were to start descending right now, so we come in there. We come to KAPAM, which is pretty cool. Waypoint name. KAPAM at above 2,000. Then we come down to 1,700 to Aniba. 5 miles to drop that 300 feet. Inbound heading 104. Glide slope intercept. Well, it's not a glide slope intercept. It's that's the final approach fix. Aniba 3-degree glide slope. Your visual descent point is 0.5 nautical miles from Emoxie. Visual descent point is the point at which, if you have the runway environment in sight, you will be able to make a normal descent and landing. Threshold crossing height is 50 feet. That's the height above the runway that you're going to come across the threshold if you're on glide slope. Recommended altitudes, these are really cool. Distance to the threshold, 4 nautical miles, 1,350 feet, 3 nautical miles, 1,030 feet, 2 nautical miles, 710 feet. Now what that is depending, of course, on your ground speed. Ground speed here in knots. I'm going to set my landing speeds because they're clearly not changing anytime soon. So landing speeds are set. Let's go back to our checklist here. We've got 3 minutes to top a descent. So let's put in that 3,000 foot altitude here as our next altitude, because we want to be ready when ATC gives us that descent. So 140 knots is going to be approximately what our airspeed is. Ground speed is going to be depending on what the winds are, of course. So I'm going to plan on about a 700 foot per minute descent past Aniba. Missed approach point is at Emoxie. It's the missed approach point. So it is, looks like 1 nautical mile from the runway threshold, which is why this ends right there, because you don't go below 550 feet. So at the so what we're going to see on the runway.
American 473, able direct KAPAM.
Can you give me the letters for that for American 473?
Sure, it's Kilo Alpha Papa Alpha Mike.
Affirmative for American 473.
American 473, roger, when ready, descent across KAPAM at 3,000, expect the RNAV runway 10, local QNH, I'll have that for you shortly.
Okay, direct KAPAM, descend maintain 3,000, and we'll expect the RNAV 10 for American 473.
Roger, QNH showing 1010.
And 1010 on the QNH for American 473. See, and this is what happens when you are prepared.
French West 621, continue descent down to 3,000. Be advised, traffic is now at your 12 o'clock position by 13 miles.
3,000 feet, we have traffic on radar, French West 621.
621, roger.
So. Let's go direct intercept. KAPAM. And execute. And we will start our descent now. And I'll go vertical speed mode. And we will go down. Pull the power back here. I almost would have rather gone as filed.
EZ361 flight level
Because
075.
now I don't know if the VNAV...
EZ361,
Yeah,
roger,
actually
radar
will.
contact, resume navigation.
Roger, EZ361.
So... what happened was, because we switched
American
to...
612, continue descent down to level 80, expect the ILS runway 09.
Continue down 80 and ILS runway 09, American 612.
Because he gave us direct KAPAM, which is right here.
Air Canada 966, 7 miles north of Boleto, cleared straight in ILS approach, runway 09, report established.
It's straight in
Yeah,
ILS 09, will
3,000, I want 2,000
report
at Japan.
established Air Canada 966.
And this is the good thing about these range rings. So this is my approximate top of descent. This one here, you always set that at 30 nautical miles. You look here in the fixed page. There's the first 105 nautical miles. Here's the second one, 30 nautical miles. That's this one here. That's where you want to be at 10,000 feet. So that way you know I'm doing pretty well. Right? And let's go back to VNAV here because I think he gave us... I know he gave us 3,000. And I don't want 3,000, I want 2,000. PRCO Center American 473 request.
473, go ahead.
Center American 473, I think you gave me cross KAPAM at 3,000. My chart's showing cross that at 2,000. Can you confirm?
3,000 initially, and then you'll get down to 10 VME, you'll go all the way down to 2,000.
Roger, I'll go 3,000 in the meantime, American 473. So whenever you have a question...
Yep, you'll see 3,000 all the way down to Papa Yankee 001, and then between Papa Yankee 001 and KAPAM 2,000.
Affirm. That's perfect. American 473, thanks. Whenever you got a question for something, you know, that's what the radio's for. People, even on VATSIM, people are worried about, you know, asking questions, confirm things. Don't ever just...
PRCO Center, Hotel Papa 2956.
Don't ever just accept what they give you if it doesn't make sense to you. So if I'd cross this at 3,000 instead of 2,000,
Last aircraft calling, give me your call sign again and your
there's
location.
no way I'm getting down, so...
Yes, hello, good evening, PRCO radar. It's Hotel Papa 2956, Cessna 172. I am in Grenada in St. George Airport, Maurice Bishop. Radio check for a flight IFR to Port Spain in a few minutes.
Hotel Papa 2956, Roger, read you strand 5.
Thank you. I'll call you back.
Roger.
So much respect for people who step out of their comfort zone and go and do something like that. I mean, if I had to go try to, I mean, I speak fluent German. If I had to go and try to do...
American 612, continue descent down to 3,000. QNH is 1011, number 3 in the approach sequence.
If I had to go and do
1011 and dollar 2,000 American 612.
VATSIM in German, that would be tough. So
French West 621, showing you 10 miles north of Boleto. Descend down to 2,000, cleared for the straight in ILS approach, runway 09, report established.
Descend 2,000, cleared into the ILS approach, French West 621, report established.
Air Canada 966 established.
Air Canada 966, roger, runway 09, cleared to land, surface winds, 100 degrees, 15 knots, be advised, runway surface is wet.
Roger, runway surface wet, clear land 09, Air Canada 966.
I just pulled the power to idle because I want to make sure that
Local QNH now, 1011.
I want to make sure that I am down in level at 3,000 well in advance of Papa Yankee 001. That way I can get myself set up and be ready for this descent down to 2,000. So, what are we expecting to see at the runway threshold? So, number one, there's a PAPI on the left, the precision approach path indicator. That's the 4 lights, the 2, the white and red lights. On the left-hand side of the runway, this is SSALS, something approach light system. I have to admit, I don't know what SS stands for. But it looks like some variation on the rabbit, which is the runway lights that lead up to the threshold. Missed approach, climbing right turn to 2,000, direct KAPAM, and hold. That is, for me, going to be a teardrop entry into the hold. Normally it would be a parallel. I do not like parallel holding entries because you're outside of protected airspace, and your initial turn in the hold is against the direction of the hold, right? So I don't like doing that. I like to keep things simple, so I'm going to go to KAPAM, outbound minus 30, which is 284 minus 30, which is 254. Have to assume this is a 60-second hold because there's nothing that says otherwise. And so cross outbound 254, 60 seconds, right hand turn, you're in the holding pattern. Minimum holding altitude 2,000, that's what they've given us. So CDFA, straight in landing, it's a constant descent flight angle, which is basically a fake a fake glide slope. You do not get a glide slope indication, but if you fly a 3-degree descent angle, you get this speed, this ground speed and descent rate correct, you're going to have this 3-degree glide slope. I don't know if this is perhaps one of the ones where the GPS will create one for you, even though one doesn't exist. But I'm going to treat this as a straight up non-precision approach. So at 3,000 here, down to 2,000.
Air Canada 966 on at time 42, vacate 09, the Echo Taxi, Echo Alpha to the gate, good night.
Echo Alpha to the gate, thanks, Maurice.
Inbound, heading
Franklin 621, runway 09, clear to land, surface winds 100 degrees, 15 knots, be advised, runway surface is wet.
First line runway 09 and
down to 1,700. Once we hit 1,700 here,
Roger.
I'm going to put the altitude pre-select back up to 2,000 so that when I cross Aniva and start my descent with vertical speed mode, that the plane doesn't capture again and just keep me there. Minimums are 550.
You're returning to 805 ready, so push it.
We're a Category C airplane. 121 to 145 knots. Approach speed.
Air Transat 805, push back and startup is approved. QNH 1011, runway 09 use.
So we need 2,000 meters of visibility for the approach. You tell me what 2,000 meters is. I have no idea. I mean, I know what it is, but how are you going to judge it visually on an approach? Good luck.
American 612, showing you 4 miles north of Toledo, clear straight in Alice approach, runway 09, you're number 2 in the approach sequence. Report established.
Okay. I've been a bad boy. I did not start slowing down early enough. Landing lights come on at 10,000 feet.
American 473, you are entering a non-radar facility. Radar service is terminated. Remain this frequency. Advise 10 miles from KAPAM.
Alright, I'll stay with you and advise 10 miles from KAPAM for American 473.
Roger, and you can continue descent down to 2,000.
And continue descent down to 2,000 for American 473. And I have been a bad boy. I am too fast. Alright, so let's bring up the legs page. That's going to tell us, it's going to be able to tell us 10 nautical miles from KAPAM, right? Getting down now to 250 knots, which is good. So approach briefing is complete. Landing data is set. Before landing checklist. Flight attendants advise. We'll go ahead and ring the bell right now. Passenger signs on. Thrust reversers armed. I know a lot of people wait until late in the process to do that. I don't know why. Landing gear, flaps, and slats. We're good to go. So it's a little bit disorienting to kind of get yourself set up here in the dark. Trying to get my head tracker in a good spot. So yeah, 210 knots is good, or 200 knots is good.
Flight 621 on time 46, vacate runway 09 via Echo. Taxi Echo Alpha to the gate. Be advised there's Airbus A310 push back from gate 14.
I'll get a look at the runway here real quick so we can see what we're going to try to do. We're going to try to make...
No problem, appreciate it. American 612, runway 09, clear to land, surface winds, 100 degrees, 15 knots, be advised, runway surface wet.
Okay. Showtime now.
Vehicle radar, Hotel Papa 2956, ready to copy IFR clearance to Port Spain.
Hotel Papa 2956, you are cleared to Port of Spain via flight plan route, climb level 80.
Roger, Vehicle radar, Hotel Papa 2956, clear to Port Spain via flight plan route. Time maintain 8,000. Confirm if you need a squawk code.
Squawk 2000 at this time.
Roger, call you when ready to taxi.
Affirm.
And Piarco radar, American 473 is 10 miles from KAPAM.
American 473, roger, cleared for the RNAV runway 10, report final.
Clear for the RNAV 10, report final, American 473. Okay. So once we get to 2,000 here.
American 612 on at time 48, vacate 09 via Foxtrot, taxi Foxtrot Alpha to the gate.
And this progress 2 page gives you your wind information. It's really good to have open. So bring in some power here because otherwise we're going to get well below that 2,000, or well below that 200 rather. Alright. 1700.
Piarco radar, Hotel Papa 2956, ready to taxi.
Alright, 8 degrees of flaps.
American, correction, Hotel Papa 2956, taxi runway 10. Local QNH 1010.
Happy coming down to 180 knots.
Hotel Papa 2956, Roger, clear to runway 10, altimeter 1010.
Happy to come down to 160 now.
Air Transat 805, taxi westward to holding point Bravo via Alpha.
Okay, once we cross KAPAM, it is...
And American 612, just give way to the A310 there. Not sure if you want to get into any of those gates close there.
I'm happy to go. Happy to go flaps 30. A little bit more power. 1.2 nautical miles from KAPAM.
Clear flush. Air Transat 805, copy ATC clearance. Piarco control clears Air Transat 805 to Toronto via the upper Alpha 632 Alpha November uniform, then as follows. Climb level 340, left turn after departure, squawk 6077.
Little bit more power. I see the runway. And Piarco Center, American 473, established on final for Grenada.
Air Transat 805, reback correct. Advise ready for departure.
I knew I was going to step on him.
American 473, roger, runway 10 clear to land. Surface winds 080 degrees, 10 knots.
Clear to land, American 473.
Hotel Papa 2956, hold position.
Roger, I'll stay in the ramp until the aircraft land.
Roger, thank you.
I'm putting that up to 3,000.
Yellow 1215, when you're ready, descend to cross Ilopo at flight level 130.
Getting a little bit slow right now.
That is correct. West Indian 610, you can also plan after Alpha November uniform to cross Ilopo at flight level 130.
Okay, our ground speed is 110 knots right now, so we only want to go about 600 feet a minute at the most. I'm going gear down, flaps down full, vertical speed mode, down 600 feet a minute. $1,700 for 550, and I gotta get some power in here. At 3 nautical miles, I want to be at 1,030 feet. So I'm at 4 nautical miles. I want to be at 1,350. Okay, I'm about 100 feet high right now, about 200 feet high. Okay, 1,000 for 550.
Aircam 967 Alpha, pushback and startup is approved, runway 09 in use, QNH is 1011.
We go autopilot disconnect, put the bar right back up.
Minimums 500. $400.
Air Transat 805, runway 09, clear takeoff, surface winds 100 degrees, 15 knots.
200.
Sync rate.
100.
Yellow 1215, radar services terminated, remain this frequency, report crossing the local.
50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
Okay, we are down. Thrust reversers armed. Full brakes. And we're good.
American 473 on time 56, vacate runway 10 enable, taxi straight into the gate, good day.
Left one able and taxi straight in for American 473. Thank you very much for your service tonight.
No problem, thanks for flying. Hotel Papa 2956, when clear of the CRJ ahead of you, you can continue taxi runway 10.
Hotel Papa 2956, Roger, got the traffic inside.
Alright, let me turn my taxi lights on, turn my landing lights off. And I'll continue straight in. He's waiting over there, I do believe. Okay, and I don't know this field at all, so what I'm going to do, instead of going forward aimlessly, see if we can figure out here. Okay. Now there's a gate right there, so first things first, let's get the APU going.
West Indian 610, radar services terminated, remain this frequency, report overhead Ulopo.
So all things considered, not bad. Couple things that could have gone a little better, but live ATC at night, you know, night approach is, for all intents and purposes, an actual IFR approach, so I'm definitely not.
Unable, I can only give you up to Ilopo.
You know, not too disappointed. Turn the passenger signs off. APU is on, so I can begin the engine shutdown. And we'll come over here.
A yellow 1215, roger, no further services available. Monitor Unicom 122.8, have good landing.
And I believe...
See ya. Air Transat 805, airborne time 59er, radar contact, resume navigation.
So I'm going to put in 122.8 just so I don't have to listen to the radio anymore, so you don't have to listen to the radio anymore. Alright, engines are shutting down. Let us turn the fuel pumps off. We'll turn the probes off. We'll turn the windshield heat off. We'll turn the 3A on. Turn everything else off. Turn the lights off. And we'll turn the thrust reversers off. We are professional aviators, so we will put our flaps up. You don't want to look like a fool sitting there on the ramp with your flaps down. So, all things considered, a pretty good approach and landing. Like I said, I don't know if we get any service here in terms of ground services. Yeah, that's what I thought. Alright, well, seems like they don't know much of anything, so I'll open the passenger door.
Ladies and gentlemen, the door is open. Please make your way to the exit and please make sure you have all your personal items and carry-on luggage.
But the only thing we forgot is the taxi lights, and the reason we forgot that is because we didn't use the checklist. So, APU's on, transponder, slats and flaps, lights, probes, all good. Parking brakes, seatbelts, thrust reversers, or thrust levers rather, anti-ice is off, fuel pumps are off, beacon lights are off, nose wheel steering is off. And, yeah. IRS emergency, we're going to ignore all that because we're not going to do the full shutdown. But, so there you have it. There was a night approach into Grenada, and that was I would consider that a pretty good success. And this is a cool airport. You can't really see it, of course, but it's a payware where you get Grenada, and then you get Piarco at Trinidad, and you get the Tobago airport as well. So you get 3 airports for like, I don't know, $15. And I like landing at all 3 of them. I like flying to all 3 of them. So anyway, hope you guys are doing well, and we will talk again soon.